For the mirror image drawing for ages 10 to 11, we're going to start with a warm-up. And so the students just need a piece of blank paper and a pencil. And we're going to do a mirror image with this as our middle line. So have them just take their paper, fold it in half, hot dog way as we used to say in school, and then they are ready to go. And this is a fun way for them to interact with their friends in class and do the warm-up together. So they will start by drawing something on the left-hand side, and you're going to be telling them using the oils vocabulary what to draw. But of course they can take that and make it whatever they want it to be. So you can start with something like draw a circle on the left-hand side, and that can be any type of circle, like from what we practiced last week. So I'm going to do mine kind of like this. There we go, and all the students will have a different circle on the left-hand side. Now they're going to take their paper and pass it to the person on their left, and they're going to get a new paper from the person on their right. So now they have an image with a circle on the left, but it's not the one that they drew. Now they have to replicate that on the other side. So they're going to study this, trying to exactly copy, what's going on here, and complete that mirror image. Then you can say, draw an angled line on the left-hand side. So they're going to take it and they're doing an angled line anywhere they want to. And again, they take their paper, they pass it to the person on the left, and they get the new paper from the person on the right. Now they have to go through and replicate that angled line on that new piece of paper. So I'll just show you here, even though it would be a completely different image with what your students have in front of them. Like that. And you can continue doing that with, you can say, do a curved line. And then you simply continue practicing the oils terminology along with their mirror image. And you can do that for about 5 minutes just to practice those ideas. After the warm-up, the students will start on their final drawing, which is the Liberty Bell, and that corresponds to our American history for cycle 3. And with this, we can see that the image on the left-hand side is simply going to be flipped and rotated to that side, kind of like what we did with the warm-up. This time, of course, it's a little bit more complicated with lots of little lines and large lines and lots of things that have to work together to look like a bell. So you have a choice here. You can either let the students walk through this on their own and work at their own pace to do that side, or you can have them work through it as a class. If you have students who've been in CC a long time and they're really used to the mirror image idea, you might want to let them go at their own pace. Or if you have students who are going to struggle with this or have never done a drawing like this, you can walk them through as a class. So I'll go through just talking about what I see, and you can talk about that with your students as you walk around and talk to them individually or as a class. Talk about the straight lines you see and things like that. So I'll start with a straight line, and I want to know how long my line is because I want to exactly replicate it. So one technique is to measure with your fingers like this, and you can do an ending dot there. It just gives us a destination point with my straight line. And obviously, the better we measure, the more accurate the drawing will be. Then I would go to my kind of curvy lines here, and I could also do a destination point to figure out how long it is and make it exactly the same on both sides. And I can see it goes down. And as you're helping students, just have them talk through what they see, or they can even take their finger and trace it and feel it, and in that way better understand what they're doing. It comes in and goes up. And again, I could feel it, or I can simply study it, depending if they're visual or kinesthetic, and observe it in any way that helps them best understand it. And the really thing you want to remember is just to use the oils words from last week so that they're connecting those basic shapes to what we're drawing here today. Whoops. I'm just going to go through. They can also measure how long things are this way. It would be about to there. I'm going to quickly go this, and then curved lines, and make sure that they understand these basic measuring techniques to do things like that. And then we have details. With this, for example, I know it's on the edge, so I'm going to go over to this edge and copy that. I want to make sure I get the same size and shape. With this one, it's about halfway between the center and the side, so this is one way I can measure that too, and go into that. This one's a little bit longer. Just like with the apple, you can't let them rush too much, even though I'm going really fast on mine. You want them to really go slow like a snail, just like before, study the little nuances of the lines and shapes and trying to replicate it as exactly as they can. So I'm going to fill this in just so we can move on to those details in just a minute. All right, so that's the basic shape and also this. And now let's add some of these details. So we have some angled lines with these boxes in here, and we also have some curved and straight lines with some of these details there. So they're going to go in, and after the basic structure is done, add these smaller parts to it. I know this one's on the left-hand edge, so I'm going to go over to the right-hand edge and do it way over here. To do an angled line, I go and I stop, go, stop. Practicing those angled lines. Now you might want to just do a third. I counted 3, I'll do a third one, but this one's actually further away. So as I study this, I see the length differences between those, and it's right next to this line here. So I'll do that. I'm going to replicate even these small details here. These angled lines, we want to either feel the angle or just observe it. And we can say, is it straight down? No, it's going to come in towards the center. So I have to make sure that this also is coming in towards that center line, just like that one is. Straight lines here. We can measure how long it is, give ourselves a destination point, and use those measuring techniques throughout this whole drawing. Even as we see here, we see that these are curved, and when we use curved lines, that makes things kind of appear like they're sticking out, like they're three-dimensional. Lines can make it appear like that, but also shading specifically makes things appear three-dimensional. So for this assignment, we're going to actually add some shading lines to show how that works. They're going to be slightly curved, just like the bell is curved. And this makes it appear like it's starting to stick out from the paper a little bit because of the shadow and because of the curved lines. There we go. So all of a sudden we have shadow on one side and the light is coming in from the other side. The more shading lines we add, the darker the shadow is. Just like that. We're going to talk about shading in the next few weeks through several other assignments. So this is an introduction to how shadow on one side creates light on the other. And we'll talk about that when we do the Washington Monument and some other projects as well. In addition to the mirror image technique and the shading lines, we are going to talk about this crack in the middle and whether that makes the image still a mirror image or if it changes it to be not a mirror image. So you can talk a little bit about the history of the Liberty Bell, when it got the crack down the side, and then how they tried to fix that. They actually widened the crack so that it would stop cracking. And now we have that kind of wiggly straight line that goes off to the left of the bell. When they add that, obviously it really makes it not a mirror image in a way because something's very different on the left than on the right. And of course we have the shadow on that side as well, which is different from this side. So as a class, if there's time, have a discussion about whether adding these things means that it's still a mirror image or if it's not. And the students can discuss among themselves and you can help them have a really polite discussion about whether this is a mirror image or not, what a mirror image means, and how we categorize things as such.